Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Ronke Kolawole. The federal government will continue to stimulate the economy through the development of small and medium enterprises, SMEs, economy by the present administration. President Goodluck Jonathan stated this at the launch of the Youth Entrepreneurship Strategy in Abuja. State House correspondent Shegun Lawole reports.
This public-private partnership called Youth Entrepreneurship Strategy that will redefine the way we engage and support the empowerment and employment of our young people.
The Youth Entrepreneurship Strategy provides Nigerian youths and women a single window to access all federal government empowerment and entrepreneurship programs, as well as job training and skills acquisition, thereby making the process of seeking and obtaining empowerment and support easy and uncomplicated. Data from the online portal known as ninet.com shows that Jonathan's administration has empowered and supported or educated 7,129,307 young Nigerians and women through a series of initiatives including YoWin, Shopee, Agripreneurs, and Graduate Internship Program to tackle unemployment.
Let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that our administration took a number of unique steps to appropriately tackle this challenge. First, we recognize that the transformation of our economy from an oil-based economy to a non-oil economy presented the greatest opportunities for job creation in our land. And as a result, we embarked on diversifying our economy. Today, I'm happy to report to Nigerians that this effort has yielded positive results with the creation of about 1.4 million jobs on average per annum for our young people. And we are working hard to improve on that, and our target is to create not less than 2 million jobs annually.
Although unemployment crisis is identified as the bane of the country's social security challenges, entrepreneurship development is widely accepted as part of the solution, in addition to every individual being a part of the solution.
Opportunity to encourage other Nigerians like Mr. Okoye to engage themselves in complementing the efforts of the government in creating jobs for youth.
We believe that those of you who have desired to run your own business but have had no money, no training, no skills, but have prayed for just a little help, help is on the way.
Beneficiaries of the various youth empowerment and entrepreneurship programs of the federal government shared their experiences as they motivated fellow youths to be self-reliant. The launch also witnessed the presentation and signing of the social contract with the youth by the president as it interacted with them. From the conference center, Presidential Villa, Abuja, Shegun Lawole, NTA News.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has commended President Goodluck Jonathan and other leaders of political parties for the maturity demonstrated so far in the preparation towards a hitch-free rescheduled general elections. The UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon gave the commendation in his message to President Goodluck Jonathan on the rescheduled elections and the process so far. Here again is State House correspondent Shegun Lawole.
Ban Ki-moon's message expressed joy that the postponement of the election has been accepted by all political parties and expected the extension to provide opportunity for more Nigerians to collect their permanent voter cards.
The Secretary General wished me to commend Mr. President, the other leaders of the political parties, and Nigerians as a whole for the maturity that has been demonstrated so far in this whole preparations towards general elections which are now scheduled later in March. We saw, first of all, the primaries. There was a lot of speculation about how they would go. They transpired in a very calm and peaceful manner. The campaigns started, and again, Nigerians have demonstrated a lot of maturity in the general manner in which the campaigns have taken place. Naturally, in periods such as this, there will be heightened tension, there will be heightened rhetoric, but on the whole, we have seen very little violence associated with this process, and this is the same also with the postponement, where there was a lot of speculation about what will happen. So far, this process is proceeding in a calm, peaceful, and credible manner, and this is the wish, certainly of the UN, but also of many friends of Nigeria. It's our expectation that all will continue to exercise restraint and keep this process clean.
The United Nations is also solidly behind Nigeria in its fight against Boko Haram and assure that it will provide support and assistance in catering for the internally displaced persons.
Mr. President has the assurance of Secretary General for the recent initiative whereby the Lake Chad Basin Commission will be the platform to anchor the multinational task force which is being put in place. There will be the support of the United Nations through the Department of Peacekeeping to ensure that the concept of operation and planning and other activities to ensure a truly joint operational force with a clear command and control and unity of purpose among the contributing countries, the contributing troops from the different countries, that they all work as one and gear their efforts towards degrading and eliminating Boko Haram. And in this, you can count on the strong support of the United Nations. Mr. President has assured us that the full material and logistical support will be provided to NEMA, and the UN system and other partners will work with NEMA, and we hope that through our joint efforts, we'll be able to bring some amelioration to the lives of the people who have been internally displaced as a result of the barbaric and cruel actions of Boko Haram terrorism.
In the State House, Shagulawole, NTA News.
Nigerians have been enjoined to support the Peace Campaign initiative championed by the National Orientation Agency and its partners. Correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports that it was at a media unveiling of Do the Right Thing Wage Peace 2015 initiative of the agency in Abuja. The report. Moving on now, an evening to showcase achievements of President Goodluck Jonathan has been organized in London by Nigerians in diaspora who turned out in their numbers to hear Ministers of Power and that of Agricultural and Rural Development speak on the success stories of President Goodluck Jonathan's administration. Bilikisu Abdurrazak Odoye has that report.
Emmanuel Macron, 36 years old, holds a doctorate degree and currently French Minister of the Economy. Jeremy Duarte, in his 30s, is Chief Executive Officer of Jumai, biggest e-commerce and online distribution outfit in Nigeria. They represent what youth with developed capacity could be.
We're a young Nigerian. I would spend a lot of time, reading on the internet about what the companies expect, training myself on calculus and math.
At the France-Africa Forum, the Minister of Agriculture, Akinwumi Adesina, championed the consensus view that the youth remain the keystone of the new partnership and growth in Africa.
Is to have what I would call skills enhancement zones. And these are vast zones that are like your economic, your export processing zones, where you can bring in a lot of people coming out of universities. They spend about 4 to 5 months in these areas. They should be enabled with infrastructure, and they should be able to provide capacity building across all sectors.
In achieving the task, experts say nations must begin to develop the capacities of their youth, transiting from traditional education to the digital age in order to breed a self-reliant youth generation.
One of the main problems in Africa is the problem of capacity, and it's focused on capacity building, and this is very important for the development of Africa.
For this forum, investing in youth represents a gold mine, and not investing represents a time bomb. From Paris, Cliff Ayozie, NTA News.
Well, we apologize for that little mix-up. That story came from Cliff Ayozie. The federal government is on the verge of delivering on a promise made to sugarcane factory in Zaria. The factory is projected to impart on sugar production in Nigeria and enhance the fortunes of farmers in the subsector. Nnamdi Odipo tells us more.
President Goodluck Jonathan's big plan for the sugar industry becomes even more realistic with each step taken to actualize the National Sugar Master Plan. One integral component of the multifaceted strategy is the plan to provide a service structure for the country's growing sugar industry. And that is where the biofactory established by government in Samaru, Zaria comes to play.
So now we decided to leverage on technology to rapidly multiply cane seeds. The lab itself is finished, and we are hoping that soon, in the next few weeks, it will be commissioned.
The project will help achieve the goals envisaged by government by providing 1 million cane seeds per annum to farmers and outgrowers. Upon takeoff, the biofactory will bridge the gap between farmers and outgrowers in the area of supply of cane seeds. The ultimate goal is to reduce Nigeria's sugar imports bill by encouraging an atmosphere for enhanced production and improve the value chain process. In Abuja, Nnamdi Odipo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerian rural dwellers will soon begin to carry out financial transactions at the Nigerian Postal Service NIPOS offices across the nation. This is because the Nigerian communications satellite, NICOMSAT, has struck a deal with NIPOS to roll out financial inclusion program as a way of expanding the operational base of the national mail carrier. Kirian Umeayo was at Kubwa Postal Office when the first financial transaction was undertaken using internet connectivity. The report.
The project is intended to cover over 1,200 post offices established across the 774 local government areas of the country. The idea is to provide access to affordable financial services to rural dwellers whose prosperity will boost the nation's overall economy. NICOMSAT is providing the required connectivity using its KA broadband services.
We are in the ICT age, and the Federal Minister of Communication Technology has been repositioned to take the front line.
Managing Director NICOMSAT Abimbola Alale says the KA band is an amazing service provider.
We have resources, and finally we're so happy that with KA we can go to the rural areas because it's cheaper.
The IT coming is a big plus to the postal administration worldwide, not only in Nigerian Postal Service.
It doesn't matter which government service you are looking for or which bank service you are looking for. When you go to the post office, you will be able to access all these various services. Some of them we're seeing already here today.
NICOMSAT is poised to achieve its objectives.
The One Network team of the program is committed to creating a single network to be shared by structured agents locations for the provision of financial and citizens' benefit services nationwide. In Abuja, Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
Thank you, Kirian. Access to electricity in a daily life is fundamental to improving quality of life and is key for economic social development. It is in the light of this that the Japanese government, under its grant assistance for grassroots human security projects, approved over 14 million naira to provide solar-powered energy for the Kabo community in Gurara local government area of Niger State. Joy Uzo witnessed the signing of the grant contract and now reports.
In Gurara local government area of Niger State is one such community facing electricity challenge. In response to sincere requests from its indigents, the Embassy of Japan is launching the over 14 million naira projects for provision of solar-powered lights. Designed to last for a period of 5 years, the project will provide 75 solar panels with LED lights to the Cabo 5 community centers and streets.
This project is expected to become a stepping stone for the Japanese companies to expand its business activities in Nigeria to the benefit of the people concerned. Access to electricity in a daily life is a fundamental to improving quality of life and is a key for economic and social development. In that sense, light will change the life of the community people, and light will bring about big smiles on the faces of community people.
That the grant being made available to us today will be judiciously used for the purpose for which it is intended, and due process will be followed in the procurement of the project.
Japan Ambassador to Nigeria Yuichi Shoji says the solar-powered lights are particularly designed with high technology and manufactured by a Japanese company as the very first public-private partnership under its grant assistance for grassroots human security projects approved in Nigeria. In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Doing to ensure security during the forthcoming elections. Abdullahi has details of this and more from that end. Abdullahi, it is over to you.
Ranke, thanks for joining us in Lagos. The Nigerian Navy says it is ready to work with sister security agencies to ensure peace during and after the general elections. The flag officer commanding Naval Training Command, Rear Admiral Babatunde Gbedina, made the assertion at the 2015 route march in Lagos. Lil Lenike reports.
The route march by ratings and officers of the Western and Naval Training Commands in Lagos. The officers marched from NNS Kura Parade Ground to Ojo-Elegba in Surulere. At the end of the march, the flag officer commanding NAVTRAC explained that the exercise is an expression of their preparedness to tackle any form of security threat.
This would sound a warning for those who seek to cause havoc, mayhem in our territory.
The FOC also reiterated the Nigerian Navy's position in ensuring peace during the 2015 elections.
Specifically, as we have in the last 1 year known that there would be an election in 2015, our personnel have been going through one form of capacity building with respect to their conduct and with the public.
More than 1,000 officers and ratings of the Nigerian Navy were involved in the route march. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
As the nation looks forward to 2015 elections, some disabled Nigerians under the aegis of Center for Citizens with Disabilities are requesting that the disability bill be passed into law to enable them function effectively in the society. Annie Daniels reports that this was revealed during a press briefing in Lagos.
Available statistics from the Center for Citizens with Disabilities reveal that over 90 million Nigerians are living with various forms of disability, with 60% of them between the ages of 18 and above. Executive Director, Center for Citizens with Disabilities, David Anyele, and other speakers noted that political parties across board and their candidates are silent on issues of great concern to Nigerians with disabilities in their electioneering campaigns.
If the government creates another facility for physically challenged people to vote and they have their own way of casting their vote, at least it will ease the government.
Also condemned the reliance on charity-based approach in addressing their plight. They say the approach has affected their participation and contribution in the socio-economic growth of the nation.
You can't say you'll be dashing people with disabilities, giving them arms every day. You don't want them to participate. And the only way they can participate is by criminalizing those behaviors like discrimination, stigmatization, and exclusion that hinders them from participation on equal basis with other people.
All this category of people say the need is a level playing ground and safety of their lives during and after the elections. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
The Lagos State People's Democratic Party PDP gubernatorial candidate Jimmy Agbaje has appealed to members of the party in the state to always eschew violence in their conducts before, during and after the elections. He made the appeal at the state PDP governorship rallies held in Mushin and Oshodi Solo. Tunde Saiki reports.
Jimmy Agbaje says
he and his All Progressive Congress governorship are taken to ensure that they and their party members avoid violence. He therefore appealed to his party supporters in these 2 local government areas and other parts of the state to assist him in achieving the mandate of the peace. Promised the people of Mushin of even development in terms of infrastructure and the government that will be mindful of their plights.
If you are violent, you may not be part of the victory. My prayer is that all of us here, when we get in on May 29th, all of us will be alive to enjoy the best.
Also at Osho, the local government area, Jimmy Agbaje told the party faithful that his government will provide free health care system.
We know we will win because we have better ideas than they have. Because in all the areas, they have failed. I mean, education, the pass on them failed.
Some other party leaders at the rally appealed to the crowd to make sure they do not waste their votes by casting them for other parties except the PDP. The state PDP campaign rally is expected to continue in other local government areas of the state. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
Residents of Etiosa local government area of Lagos State have embarked on a freedom march in reaction to the untold hardship experienced in the area, with emphasis on the Lekki-Aja Express Road toll fees and other undue taxation. Imodori reports that the march was also in support of the PDP gubernatorial candidate in the state, Jimmy Agbaje.
The march, organized by the Freedom Group of Nigeria, is a wake-up call to people living along the Lekki-Aja axis to demand for their rights for good governance that is transparent and ready to listen. They decried the undue taxation imposed on the common man, exploitations and oppression, among other issues.
We are saying enough is enough. We have this freedom to speak, freedom to do whatever it is, as long as it's in terms with the Constitution.
They, however, appealed to the government to invest resources in building infrastructures that would make life more meaningful to the people.
We have erosion problem. We cannot access our various houses when it rains. We have toll issue, another major problem.
PDP gubernatorial candidate in the state, Jimmy Agbaje, while addressing the group, promised to look into the issues.
With your support, when we come into office May 29th, 2015, that toll plaza, all the toll plaza along the Lekki Expressway will be brought down.
The march, which started at the Chevron roundabout in Lekki, terminated at the Lekki toll gates.
And that's nationwide from Lagos. Ronke will have more report from Abuja. Ronke, it's over to you.
Thank you, Abdullahi. Reactions have continued to trail the postponement of the 2015 general elections, the latest coming from Nigerians in the United States. Adeyemi Omojola Fatoba reports that they called on Nigerians to see the postponement as a blessing which would enable the country prepare adequately for more credible polls. Her report.
Describing INEC's decision to shift the election dates by 6 weeks as the right thing to do, Speaker after Speaker at the town hall meeting said it gives an opportunity to address issues that could have marred the elections if they were held as earlier scheduled. They cited insecurity and the fact that quite a good number of the electorate are yet to have their permanent voter cards as major concerns that ought to be addressed before heading to the polls.
Everyone needs their PVC to be able to be eligible to vote, and there are other finishing touches that to keep the nation in a very readiness mood to go up to the election.
We must wait until it gets as good as it can get. Security-wise, we want to make sure that all the little village and local communities are secured for them. We don't want no violence.
It's always good to agree. Whether it's late or early, it's good to agree. We agree with the decision for postponement.
And as supporters of Goodluck Sambo for 4 more years, they said the gains of President Jonathan's transformation agenda are so enormous, hence the need for continuity.
President Jonathan has done well with the economy. And also in the realm of security, the most important thing that President Jonathan has done is to get other countries around the Boko Haram corridor to cooperate in this struggle.
Him and Sambo will be making a good sense with that country, and will make that country either united, cooperative, and be one of the best in the world.
For not voting Jonathan, we're going to be setting the clock of Federal Republic of Nigeria back. For voting Jonathan, we are voting progress for the country.
From Maryland, Adeyemi Omojola Fatoba, NTA News.
Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, has assured the people of his senatorial district that President Jonathan and the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Enugu State would deliver on their promises to Ndigbo and Enugu people. He gave the assurance while addressing various communities in Enugu West Senatorial District as part of his re-election campaign. The report.
Speaking at the rally, Senator Ekweremadu said most of the projects in the area, those commissioned and ongoing, are some of the dividends of the Jonathan administration.
The government can change the life of any community. So that's why I'm asking you to get our people to vote for us. If you vote for us, these things will continue.
While appreciating his people for the rousing welcome, Senator Ekweremadu used the occasion to encourage his people to collect their permanent voters' card. He also commented on the postponement of the election's date.
So if we're going to hold the election in Nigeria, the whole world wants us to see a transparent, free and fair election. So if the postponement will guarantee that standard, I believe that it is the best to do.
The Deputy President of the Senate also commissioned and inspected some ongoing projects within the Enugu West Senatorial District of Enugu State.
Jos Network Center is our next stop on Nationwide, where the National President of the Christian Association of Nigeria holds prayer rally for the country. Miriam is there with this story and more. Miriam.
Good afternoon, Ronke. You're welcome to Jos. Christians have been advised not to turn their backs on God despite the present challenges. National President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Pastor Ayo Orisejafo, gave the advice at a special prayer rally for Nigeria held at St. Mary's Catholic Church, Tafawa Balewa in Bauchi State. Correspondent Bulak Afsa reports.
With the theme stand in the gap, the one-day prayer is aimed at asking God to restore, renew and rebuild Nigeria beyond 2015. CAN National President Pastor Ayo Orisejafo admonished Christians to pray for peace as well as the end of insurgency in the northeast sub-region of Nigeria. Pastor Orisejafo urged Christians to live a life of integrity as well as pray for peace, unity and progress of the country. He advised politicians to play the game according to the rules.
We are here to lift up the name of Jesus. Many Christians do exactly that. When problem comes from different directions, because they cannot stand the pressure of problem, they walk away from God.
Earlier, Chairman Bauchi State Chapter of Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Joshua Ray Maynard said, the prayer is to thank God and pray for government and for the peaceful forthcoming general elections. There were goodwill messages from the representative of Governor Issa Yuguda, the Executive Secretary Ted Fund, Professor Suleiman Oguru, the Executive Secretary, National Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board, Dr. John Kennedy Apara, among others. In Bauchi, Bulak Afsa, NTA News.
Over 120 bags of maize have been distributed to victims of the communal disturbances in Mangu local government area of Plateau State. Correspondent Kim Gotts reports that the grains were a contribution of both the Magavu and Fulani communities in the 9 districts of the locality.
The donation include 123 bags of maize, a bag of rice and clothing to the victims. Director General, National Orientation Agency, Mr. Mike Omiri, represented by Plateau State Director of the agency, Bulus David, applauded the initiative, adding that the move will further concretize the peace-building process in the area. The NOA helmsman advised other communities in the country to emulate the initiative, as exemplified by the two communities.
It is an action that is worthy of emulation by all communities across countries. All communities can learn from the actions of these two communities.
District Head of Mangu, Da John Putman Hissi, and National President, Magavul Development Association, Stephen Hissi, both commended the Fulani and Magavul people, as well as good-spirited individuals, for the noble gesture of rebuilding the peace process in the localities.
To me, it's something that I've not experienced before, that for the people that were involved in this crisis came together to contribute for the relief of those of the victims.
If people are to go back to their previous abode and to fully reconcile and settle back, then they need something to eat.
The youths of the communities have since engaged in rebuilding each other's destroyed houses. From Mangu local government area, Kim Gotts, NTA News.
The Bauchi State Police Command has arrested 4 suspects for stealing 302 computer laptops worth over 12 million naira belonging to Bauchi State Government. The State Commissioner of Police, Lowell Shehu, who disclosed this while briefing newsmen, said 11 stolen vehicles were also recovered by the command. Correspondent Abbas Mekano reports.
The laptop computers belonging to Bauchi State Institute of Computer Technology were purchased from INEC through auction recently and carted away by the suspects. The police commissioner said the suspects Awal Haladu, Shoaib Husseini, Ali Musa and Muhammad Inwa were arrested in possession of 166 computers and 46 hard disks.
And broke the store and carted away 371 hard disks, 302 pieces of computer laptops, valued at 12,770,000 naira.
CP Lawal Shehu said police are pursuing the killers of a director in the Bauchi State Ministry of Local Government Affairs, Babangida Garba. He said the abandoned vehicle of the killers with registration number Katsina 124 is in police custody with vital documents that could assist in tracking the culprits. CP Lawal called on the people of the state to always assist police with useful information towards ensuring crime-free society. In Bauchi, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
That's it from here. Ronke is back to you for more on the news nationwide.
Thank you, Miriam. We now pause for some messages before the news continues.
I beg all fellow Nigerians to help me appeal to the head of state. If our mother is killed, there will be no other hope for us in the world.
Gloria Iyama, just 11. She and her sister Patience, 2 daughters from a proud, hard-working woman of Nigeria. A single mother, Gladys Iyama, taken from her
Please do not kill her for God's sake. Please, Daddy Buhari. Please.
Unfairly tried by General Buhari, heartlessly put to death. 2 girls orphaned by a man who knows no mercy. General Buhari took their mother, took her voice. Make your voice heard.
On March 28th,
vote no to dictatorship. No to the man who shows no mercy. Vote for justice and compassion. Vote Good Luck Ibeli Jonathan.
The postponement of the 2015 election dates to March 28th and April 11th is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Join us on Tuesday Live for answers as a team of experts x-ray the issues at stake. Tuesday Live, informative, educative and engaging. Don't be told. Join us.
The Industrial Training Fund is the former skills training and development organization in Nigeria with a network of 39 offices bringing training services to the doorsteps of industries across Nigeria to arm Nigerians with employable skills targeted at creating jobs, generating wealth and diversifying the economy. ITF has trained millions of Nigerians in different trade areas and partners with the organized private sector. The good news is the figure of people trained is now being increased to 2 million Nigerians annually, in line with President Goodluck Jonathan's mandate to the ITF. ITF is in collaboration with other international organizations such as Institute of Technical Education Singapore and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization UNIDO.
I choose to acquire my skill in ITF because I can be self-employed and I can start my empire from there.
Enroll for any of our training programs to better equip yourself for work and life. For more information, visit www.itf-nigeria.com. Partner with ITF today to build a better Nigeria.
Nigeria, we the people decree that the power of evil secrecy shall fail.
All Nigerians should understand that a divided Nigeria can only mean catastrophic consequences for the entire black race.
We all African countries count on you, and you are our beacon of hope.
That when Nigeria sneezes, all of us will catch cold.
All of us who look to Nigeria for lessons and inspiration never cease to thank God for this wonderful gift to Africa.
Nigeria enjoys the respect, the admiration, the friendship, and the hope of an entire continent.
The powerhouse of Africa.
Nigeria.
Unite and build Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.
A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
PDP 2015. This message was brought to you by the Media and Publicity Directorate of the PDP campaign organization.
Thanks for being there. As part of its sensitization of supporters to conduct themselves peacefully despite the postponement of election dates, the APC Women Caucus has embarked on a non-violence roadshow nationwide, as reported by Abdullahi Kudu.
Tagged Ethical Reorientation Philosophy for APC for a Greater Party and Nigeria, the women led by the national woman leader Hajia Rahmatu Tijani and the wife of the national chairman Victoria Odego Oyegun went round major roads in Abuja and all the way to Kefi, Nasarawa State. They joined in the call for supporters to remain calm and resolute to the party ideas.
It is a violence-free election we are talking about. We are talking to Nigerian women, we are talking to the women of all progressive Congress to be calm, to be patient, and to be the women they are. Actually, the theme of this is the restoration of our family value system. We are talking and appealing to Nigerians in general to shun violence, to give peace a chance.
We have to do a continuation of getting the women and, the populace to understand that the election is not now holding, but we have to keep pressing on, and we have to stay on course so that nobody gets demoralized.
The sensitization is to be taken to other parts of the country. In Abuja, Abdullahi Kudu, NTA News.
A one desensitization workshop on election coverage and a peace accord agreement entered into by candidates as some of the reports lined up on Nationwide in Port Harcourt Network Studios, where Dauju is standing by.
Ronke, good to see you. Good evening and welcome to Port Harcourt. A one-day sensitization workshop organized by the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria South-South Zone brought together stakeholders to meet minds on critical challenges that may confront broadcasters while prosecuting the forthcoming general elections. Correspondent Ifoma Omesa reports that the discussions were fruitful and engaging.
The one-day sensitization workshop, which was attended by practitioners in the broadcast industry, was to tackle the challenges of election coverage in a temporary society. The Director General, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, Malam Ladan Salihu, represented by Director of News, FRCN, National Headquarters, Abuja, Malam Sani Suleiman, called on reporters and other stakeholders to work in synergy to ensure free, fair, and credible election.
We are doing as reporters, we are doing it in the interest of ourselves as well as the interest of the country.
In his remarks, the South-South Zonal Director of the FRCN, Jonas Emechebe, said with the growing power of the social media and its ability to give out instant information to a mass audience, the challenge for media professionals is to moderate the flow of information at every point of the electoral process. In his Electoral Commissioner, Rivers State, Mrs. Gracilla Khan, represented by Achebe Godfrey, spoke on measures put in place to ensure each free election based on mistakes learned from past elections.
Of journalism in election coverage is very, very important and very, very crucial.
Internal Director, NTA Network Center, Port Harcourt, Mr. Sunday Ibrahim Songtong, called on the participants to spread the message of peace during the forthcoming general elections by exhibiting a high sense of patriotism and effective management of information, particularly on issues which border on crisis. The workshop was attended by representatives of major stakeholders in the electoral process, such as the police, INEC, National Rotation Agency, Chairman of River State of NUJ and Ratau, who bear their minds on the significance of the workshop. The workshop has as its theme Media Responsibilities and Civil Education for 2015 election. In Port Harcourt, Ifoma Omesa, NTA News.
Candidates of the various political parties participating in the February 2015 elections in Rivers State have agreed to a peace accord supervised by the Assistant Inspector General of Police, AIG Zone 6, Tunde Ogunshaki. Correspondent Onenge Fineface reports that the AIG also read the Riot Act for any politician or party supporters intending to perpetrate election violence or malpractice during the polls.
The peace accord was agreed to by all the candidates, flying party flags with a pledge to carry on with campaigns based on ideology and devoid of crisis. Governorship candidates of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the All Progressives Congress, APC, commended initiators of the peace accord, vowing to pursue issue-based permutations as they campaign for votes.
So for us, we want to show you whatever it takes to have a violent free election and to be committed to it. As many accords as we are requested to endorse, we will endorse. We believe in non-violence as a way of life.
Convener of the peace accord and AIG in charge of Zone 6, Tunde Ogunshakin, advised politicians to conduct themselves in line with acceptable standards, adding that the police is well positioned to prosecute all electoral offenders irrespective of their party.
Political activities must effectively accommodate the interests of all without undermining the fundamental human rights of the citizens.
There is synergy between all the security agencies, and we are working towards providing an enabling ground for you to perform all your activities.
On her part, the River State INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, Kesila Khan, informed leaders and members of political parties that the Commission has put up mechanisms to ensure the conduct of a transparent and credible elections.
I want to really appeal to you that you embrace peace.
The peace accord was reached before representatives of various security outfits and newsmen in River State. In Port Harcourt, on Ngiye Fine Face, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy says it is ready to collaborate with other agencies to ensure a violent-free 2015 general elections. The Commandant, Nigerian Naval College, ONE, Commodore Dogara Abehu, stated this after a confidence-building exercise with other paramilitary agencies in ONE Eleme local government area. Correspondent Emmanuel Lene reports.
Against the backdrop of fears by many Nigerians that the 2015 elections may be characterized by violence, the Nigerian Navy from the Naval Base One, in collaboration with the Nigerian Customs Service and the Nigerian Police, decided to embark on a confidence-building exercise to reassure residents in the One area that they are up to the task of ensuring a hitch-free elections in the area. The exercise took the personnel from the Naval College to the trailer park, demonstrating their combat readiness for any situation that may pose any threat to the 2015 elections. The Commandant, Nigerian Naval College, ONE, Commodore Dogara Abehu, said the Navy with other agencies are fully prepared, pointing out that the exercise demonstrates their unity and readiness to ensure a violent-free pools.
It's a confidence-building route march so that to give the impression to the public that yes, the military is together.
It's a signal that we are united to foster peace and protect our environment.
We want to bring everybody together so that we know that we are working towards the same goals.
In One, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Port Harcourt. It's back to Ronke in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you, Daoju. And more from the political scene now. The People's Democratic Party, PDP candidate for Ogun Central Senatorial seat, Mrs. Abisola Clark, has called on residents of the state to unite and support the PDP in the forthcoming general elections at Ofada Primary Healthcare Center, where she provided free medical treatment for the people. Mrs. Clark called for peace, promising to represent them well if voted into the National Assembly. Beneficiaries of the free medical treatment commended Mrs. Clark for the gesture and promised not to relent in supporting the PDP. INEC runs off ad hoc staff training in Makurdi. As civil society organizations and political parties meet on 2015 elections. This and others report in our Makurdi Network studio, where Susan is standing by.
Thank you, Ronke, and welcome to Makurdi. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has concluded its training of core members and other ad hoc staff in Benue State, preparatory to the conduct of the forthcoming general elections. Head of Department, Voter Education and Publicity of INEC, Benue State, Godwin Abari, says the trainees have been adequately equipped to carry out their duties. Correspondent Charles Abba reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, commenced the training of core members and other ad hoc staff in Benue State on Friday, the 6th of February. Head of Department, Voter Education and Publicity of the Commission in Benue State, Godwin Abari, said the training is a conscious effort by INEC to deliver on its promise of conducting free, fair and credible elections. He maintained that the shift of the election date is a blessing as it will afford INEC the opportunity to conclude all plans on hand.
Now we are using 3 days, and subsequently a refresher course is going to take place before they eventually go out onto the field.
Electoral officer in charge of Makurdi local government area, Abu Ufene, who corroborated Abari's statement, said out of the more than 5,000 required ad hoc staff, over 3,000 participated in the training. Some of the trainees affirmed that with the level of training received, they are ready to function effectively.
At the end of the training, we achieve
and we'll do according to the rules.
They are optimistic that the shift of the election dates will enable them to study their notes and be more abreast of the rules guiding the elections. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
As the 2015 general elections draw nearer, political parties and their candidates have once more been advised to ensure that the elections are violence-free. This was the position of stakeholders at a one-day workshop for civil society, organizations and political parties held in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Correspondent Blessing Omeche Ebute was there and filed in this report.
Over the years, the challenges of political transition has always been a major source of concern to stakeholders. With the 2015 general elections by the Kana and the clamor for a peaceful and violence-free election, the Center for Healthcare and Economic Empowerment for Women and Youth put together the workshop to bridge the information gap between political parties and the electorate. Project Officer, Center for Healthcare and Economic Empowerment for Women and Youth, Anthony Jibril, called on political parties and their candidates to ensure good governance if given the mandate.
We also need us as a group to organize ourselves properly. So I think I'm seeing that I'm lacking in Benue State. Organize ourselves properly. Do the work that we're supposed to do.
Guest speaker at the forum, Tefa Akosu, while outlining the role of NGOs and civil society organizations, said they are the brain behind the development of any society.
If the people are dissatisfied with the treatment meted out on them by the government, they can have the power to express their feelings, and the Constitution herself guarantees the freedom of expression to citizens of Nigeria and demand good government.
In 2012, the Nigerian government reduced the amount of subsidy paid on petroleum products and chose to invest its 41% share of the safe subsidy funds into the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program, SURE-P. Today, we'll look at the numbers. SURE-P has achieved 50% decrease in maternal mortality rates and 40% decrease in neonatal mortality rates in Nigeria. Over 8,500 skilled workers have been employed for public works. Over 1,000 mass transit buses have been provided for the public, and 40 Priority 1 roads are undergoing maintenance throughout the country. SURE-P has created 185,000 jobs, placed over 20,000 graduates in the graduate internship program, and trained over 1,000 auto technicians at the National Automotive Council. 1,200 health facilities have been supplied with drugs and medical equipment. 520,000 pregnant women have received care, resulting in over 100,000 deliveries in SURE-P MCH facilities. These are just some of the ways SURE-P is making life better for you and I.
SURE-P, delivering service with integrity.
Nigeria is a democracy, not a monarchy. Buhari, why do you perpetually threaten Nigerians?
If you don't do it, it's the risk of your life.
Nigerians, we were delivered once from the tyranny of General Buhari.
The ambition of any politician is want the blood of any Nigerian.
On March 28th, go out and vote en masse. Vote for unity. Vote for the love of Nigeria. Vote Goodluck Ebele Jonathan for the continuity of one Nigeria. A message from We Are Nigerians.
And now sports.